The galaxy laughed at humanity. Among the polished cruisers, gleaming carriers, and sleek destroyers of alien species, the human fleet looked like something dragged from a museum. Rust streaked the hulls of their ships. Panels creaked under the strain of old engines. Even the paint on the horizon's end had started to peel, revealing metal worn thin by centuries of service. But standing on the bridge of that ancient battleship, Captain Alara Voss did not flinch. Her eyes, steady and sharp, scanned the holographic projection of the Galactic Council's assembly. A crowd of alien ambassadors watched from their floating platforms. Their faces, if they could be called faces, contorted with amusement. Tentacles waved, horns glimmered, and translucent skin shimmered with sneers. "Look at them," one of the Therax envoys hissed to his companion, a creature with 6 wings and no mouth. "They are relics. Ancient, weak, pathetic. How can they even keep these? Things in space?" Alara ignored the whispers. The humans around her were tense, hands gripping consoles, boots planted firmly on the worn deck plates. This fleet was humanity's last pride, and it had survived because they refused to surrender to mockery. The Galactic Council's main speaker, a towering insectoid named Vrihan, clicked his mandibles and addressed the assembly. And here we have them, the humans. Their ships, as you see, are quaint, fragile. Yet they insist on showing up, as if these old shells could ever challenge the galaxy's might. He paused, sending a ripple of laughter across the assembly. We must remember them for what they truly are, the rusted ones. A murmur of approval swept through the hall. Some laughed openly. Others pretended to hide their amusement. But on the horizon's end, a single human voice rose above the tension. "Steady, everyone. Eyes on the stars, not their laughter," Alara said quietly, her voice carrying calm authority. She did not need to shout. Her crew had heard her tone for years, and it carried the weight of experience, of battles fought and survived. Lieutenant Marcus Hale, her second-in-command, leaned over the console, scanning reports of alien chatter. "Captain, sensors are picking up unusual readings beyond the rim. Nothing standard, and it's faint, almost like a pattern, but I can't translate it." Alara frowned, stepping closer. "Show me." The holographic panel flickered, displaying an undulating waveform. It pulsed in a rhythm almost like a heartbeat. "That's impossible," Marcus murmured. "The Council's outer scanners haven't detected anything. They would have reported it." Ilara's eyes narrowed. "Then it's for us to discover. Keep monitoring, and keep it off the channels. No need to make the Council laugh at us for being paranoid." Her orders were simple, but in them lay a message. Humanity might be mocked, but they were not blind. They were not helpless. The rusted fleet had survived worse than alien ridicule. They had survived war, famine, and the slow decay of time itself. As the human fleet drifted into the Council's staging area, the differences were stark. The alien vessels gleamed like jewels. Engines hummed in perfect synchronicity. Energy shields shimmered with colors humans could barely imagine. In comparison, human ships groaned as their thrusters engaged, clouds of vapor drifting from exhaust vents. Yet the human fleet had something none of the Council's delegates could see: experience, ingenuity, and, above all, determination. "Look at them," whispered Ensign Lara Kim, her voice trembling slightly as she watched a nearby Council cruiser twist and turn effortlessly. "They really think we can match them?" Alara placed a hand on her shoulder. "We don't match them. We outlast them. And when the time comes, we will show them what humans can do." Hours passed in tense silence. The Council's parade of might was over the top. They demonstrated weapons, formation flying, and even a holographic reenactment of the last major battle against an enemy species. Humans were spectators. They were supposed to feel small, but then something changed. A flicker on the sensors drew Marcus's attention again. "Captain, it's the signal. It's stronger now, almost calling to us." Alara's heart quickened, though her face betrayed nothing. She moved to the main console and studied the waveforms. They weren't random. They were structured, deliberate. The code embedded within was old, very old, predating even the oldest human star charts, yet it resonated with patterns known only to their fleet. "It's human," she whispered. The room went silent. Every officer froze. "This signal, someone long ago left this message for us, for our eyes only. The council remained oblivious, laughing at a demonstration of their newest plasma array. Ilara turned her attention back to the console. The signal pulsed again, louder this time, as if aware of the human's attention. Its rhythm was steady, unyielding. "This isn't a warning," Marcus said, awe creeping into his voice. "It's a message. A key." Ilara's lips pressed together. A key to what, she did not yet know. But she knew one thing. The galaxy would never expect it. As the parade ended, the human fleet prepared to withdraw. The council applauded the supposed spectacle of weaklings enduring scrutiny. Ilara allowed herself a small private smile. Humanity had endured mockery before. From empires, from rival species, and from time itself. They could endure it again. In the quiet of her private quarters aboard the Horizon's End, Ilara studied the signal further. It was a pattern of energy fluctuations that matched ancient Earth codes, used in long-forgotten communication methods. Humanity had once mastered it. Humanity had once fought wars that no alien could imagine, and somehow the old code still worked. "Captain," Marcus said from the doorway, voice careful, "the fleet is waiting for orders. They trust us to know what to do next." Ilara closed her eyes for a moment, thinking of the young crew members who had never seen a real war, who had only heard stories from faded logs. She thought of the Earth she had never seen, the cradle of her people now distant and silent in the void, and she thought of the mocking eyes of the galaxy, sure that humans had nothing left to offer. "They laughed at us once," she said softly, "and we survived. We will survive again. Prepare the fleet. We are going to follow that signal, wherever it leads, and when the galaxy sees what humans can do, they will remember us forever." Marcus nodded, understanding her resolve. "Yes, Captain." The next hours were filled with preparations. Engineers worked tirelessly to patch old hulls, recalibrate sensors, and ensure engines would not fail in uncharted space. Crew members moved with quiet determination, aware that their efforts would be tested soon. The rusted fleet was old, yes, but every dent, every scratch told a story of survival and ingenuity. As the human fleet finally disengaged from the Council's parade, alien vessels watched curiously. Some still whispered insults. Others simply shook their heads, convinced that humanity was chasing ghosts. But Ilara didn't look back. Her eyes were on the dark expanse ahead. Stars glittered in the distance, innocent and silent, yet she felt it. The pull of something vast, something ancient, something waiting. The signal pulsed again, and this time the human fleet felt it collectively, a quiet hum that resonated through every hull. It was a call, a reminder, a challenge. And humanity, for all its rust and age, was ready to answer. As the Horizon's End led the rusted fleet toward the unknown, the crew whispered among themselves, some nervously, some with excitement, maybe, "This is the moment they'll finally see us." Ilara stood at the bridge, watching the stars stretch into lines as the fleet accelerated. Her hand rested lightly on the console, steady, unwavering. She knew the galaxy would mock them, underestimate them, even try to crush them. But she also knew one truth the galaxy had forgotten. Humans endure. Humans adapt. And when the time comes, humans fight. With courage, with ingenuity, and with a stubbornness no machine or alien could ever fully understand. The rusted fleet, mocked by the galaxy, sailed onward into darkness. And somewhere in that void, something was waiting to prove the galaxy wrong. The stars above trembled silently, as if sensing the beginning of a story no one had yet believed possible. The rusted fleet moved silently through the void, leaving behind the mockery of the Galactic Council. Stars stretched into long silver lines as the ships accelerated, engines groaning under the strain of age. Yet the humans aboard these old vessels felt no fear, only anticipation. The signal pulsing in their sensors was no ordinary message. It was ancient, deliberate, and meant for them alone. On the bridge of the Horizon's End, Captain Ilara Voss stood before the main console. Her eyes were fixed on the holographic display of the signal, which danced across the screen like a living heartbeat. Lieutenant Marcus Hale and Ensign Lara Kim hovered nearby, their expressions a mix of curiosity and awe. "It's stronger now," Marcus said, fingers tracing the waveform. "Almost alive. I've never seen anything like this. The Council's ships couldn't even detect it." Ilara's gaze did not waver. "Because it wasn't meant for them. Humanity has a memory the galaxy forgot. Old codes, patterns, and languages hidden in the stars themselves. That is what we are following. Lara frowned. Captain, do we even know what it wants from us? Ilara smiled faintly, though her eyes were serious. Not yet. But the stars themselves are calling us, and when the stars call, humans listen. As the fleet navigated deeper into uncharted space, a heavy silence fell over the bridge. The emptiness of the void pressed on the crew, but no one spoke unnecessarily. Every sensor, every monitor, every console hummed with quiet attention. The signal was more than data. It was a puzzle, and the humans had always been good at solving impossible puzzles. Hours passed, and then days. The rusted fleet left familiar constellations behind, entering a region known among few species as the Silence. No signals returned from this part of space. No stars blinked with artificial messages. No alien ships dared enter. It was a void even the Council avoided, yet the humans pressed forward. Captain, Marcus said, voice tight with tension. The signal isn't just a message anymore. It's a guide. It's leading us somewhere. Ilara's eyes narrowed. Somewhere. Dangerous, most likely. But if the galaxy is listening to us now, it will mock us. And if the galaxy is right, then we will find only ruin. But if the galaxy is wrong, then we will find hope. As if on cue, the sensors began to display anomalies. Space itself seemed distorted. Stars flickered as if blinking in disbelief. Gravity readings fluctuated unpredictably. The older ships groaned, some warning lights flickering with strain. But the humans pressed on. The first signs of alien wreckage appeared faintly on the scanners, twisted shapes floating in the void, massive but broken, scattered like debris after some catastrophic storm. Captain, Lara whispered, those ships, they're dead. Entire fleets, destroyed. Ilara studied the images carefully. Not by weapons. Look at the patterns. No blasts, no energy signatures. This was something else. Something bigger. Marcus leaned over her shoulder. But what could destroy ships like that and leave the rest of space untouched? Before anyone could answer, a new reading appeared. Deep in the wreckage, a subtle energy ripple pulsed, almost like a heartbeat in the cold silence of space. It was faint but unmistakable. The signal, the same one that had led them here, resonated within it. Captain, Lara said, pointing at the display. It's reacting to us. It's waiting. Alara's heart beat faster, though her face remained calm. Prepare the scanners. Let's see what we're really dealing with. The fleet drifted closer, cautious but unafraid. The closer they got, the more distorted space became. Light bent in unnatural ways. Time itself seemed to slow and twist. Yet the humans' old ships held steady. Their engineering, simple, reliable, durable, allowing them to endure what newer vessels could not. Suddenly, a shape formed in the darkness, a massive, shadowy figure, stretching across the void like a wave frozen in place. The crew gasped, though they tried to contain their fear. The figure was enormous, far larger than any ship or space station. Its edges shimmered with gravitational distortion as if it existed partly out of reality. It's alive, Marcus whispered. Or something pretending to be alive. Ilara didn't answer immediately. Her eyes studied the figure. Whatever it is, it knows we're here. It knows we are listening. And it's waiting to see what we will do next. The signal pulsed again, louder this time as if urging them forward. The fleet edged closer, following the rhythm that only humans could understand. With every step, the shadow moved slightly, a slow, deliberate reaction. It was as if the void itself was alive, testing the humans, daring them to continue. Lara's hands shook slightly as she typed commands into the console. Captain, what if it's a trap? Ilara turned to her young officer, her expression firm. We've survived worse. Remember what we are. Humanity is not the strongest, not the fastest, not the most advanced, but we endure. We adapt, we fight. That is why we are here. The fleet moved closer still, revealing more wreckage. Ships of alien races, entire armadas, twisted and broken. Not destroyed by missiles or lasers, but by something that bent space and devoured light. The horror of it made some of the younger crew shiver, but Ilara remained steady, a calm center in the storm of fear. Finally, they reached the epicenter. The shadowy form pulsed in harmony with the signal. The older human sensors aboard the horizon's end began to display ancient codes. Symbols, long forgotten, appeared across the screen. Letters, numbers, and patterns that predated even the oldest human colonies. It's old, Marcus said. Older than anything we've seen. older than the council itself. Ilara studied the patterns, a realization forming in her mind. This isn't a warning. It's a map. It's a key to something we were meant to find. Lara blinked. A key, but to what? Ilara's eyes shone with determination. To our past and maybe to our future. Humanity has always been underestimated, forgotten, mocked. But someone long ago left this message for us, a reminder that we were never as powerless as the galaxy thought. The signal pulsed one final time, stronger than before, flooding the human fleet with energy. Hulls glowed faintly, old engines thrummed with renewed power. The rusted fleet, mocked, ridiculed, dismissed, now had a purpose that no alien could understand. Ilara's voice carried across the bridge, calm yet resolute. We go forward. Whatever lies ahead, we face it together. The galaxy may have laughed at us, but we are not afraid. Not now. Not ever. As the fleet followed the pulsing signal deeper into the silence, space itself seemed to bend around them. Stars shimmered oddly. Gravity fluctuated. Time slowed and stretched. The humans endured, their old ships creaking but holding, their crew focused and determined. For days they traveled, never speaking unnecessarily. The signal guided them, a beacon in the void. Occasionally, shadows flitted at the edge of their sensors, strange gravitational waves that could have been threats. But every time the fleet adapted, humans had always survived where others failed. Finally, they emerged at the heart of the silence, a vast region of space, filled with the remnants of countless armadas stretched before them. Ships of alien races, some as large as planets, were scattered like toys broken by a careless hand. Yet at the center the shadow waited. It was enormous, impossible to measure with ordinary sensors. Light bent and warped around it. Yet as the humans approached, their ships, old, rusted, patched, responded in harmony with the pulsing signal. They fit into a rhythm no one else could feel. Ilara stepped forward, placing her hand on the console. "This is it," she said softly. "Whatever this is, it was meant for us. Humanity has survived every test, every war, every mockery. Now, we find out why." Marcus nodded, awe written across his face. "Captain, it's beautiful. And terrifying." Ilara's eyes glimmered with determination. "Yes, but we are ready. The galaxy may have forgotten us, but we have not forgotten ourselves. And when the time comes, they will see what humans can do." The signal pulsed one last time, brighter, stronger, almost like a heartbeat in the darkness of space. The rusted fleet, laughed at and dismissed, moved forward into the unknown, ready to uncover a secret the galaxy had never expected. The stars around them seemed to shift, as if noticing the humans' approach. Something ancient stirred in the darkness, and for the first time in centuries, the rusted fleet felt that the galaxy might be on the brink of remembering humanity, the species that never gave up. The rusted fleet drifted in the eerie quiet of the silence. Stars shimmered strangely around them, and the twisted wreckage of alien fleets stretched in every direction like frozen shadows. The signal pulsing through the human ship's sensors had led them here. But no one yet knew what waited at the heart of this ancient mystery. Captain Ilara Voss stood on the bridge of the horizon's end, hands resting lightly on the console. Her crew worked quietly, adjusting sensors, checking hull integrity and scanning the alien wrecks for any trace of what had destroyed them. Every ship in the fleet responded as if it had its own awareness, old but resilient. Creaking and groaning like living creatures, Lieutenant Marcus Hale approached, holding a tablet displaying the fleet's readings. "Captain, the Council will want an explanation when we return. Entire alien armadas destroyed and our fleet survived unscathed. They'll be demanding to know how." Ilara shook her head. "Let them wait. The galaxy doesn't understand yet. This isn't about proving ourselves to them. It's about survival. And right now, survival means understanding what killed those fleets, and why the signal is only reacting to us." Ensign Lara Kim pointed at the display. "Captain, the energy patterns in the wreckage, they're not natural. It's like space itself was being manipulated. Gravity twisted. Light bent. Yet our ships aren't affected. Why?" Ilara's gaze darkened. "Because we are different. Humanity has always endured what others could not. Our fleets were never the fastest or the strongest, but we adapted. And the old codes in that signal, they were built to respond to us." Marcus frowned. "Codes from the past, you mean from Earth's first star fleets?" "Yes," Ilara said quietly. "Long before the Council formed. Long before the galaxy thought it understood humans, we left warnings, instructions, and protections hidden in the stars. Most species forgot. Most humans forgot too. But some things survive, waiting for the right moment. The signal pulsed again, and this time it was different, stronger, more insistent. Every ship in the fleet seemed to resonate with it. The ancient sensors aboard the horizon's end flickered, revealing a hidden pattern, symbols that had not been seen in centuries. Their instructions, Marcus realized. Something built this for us. Something that expects humans to follow it, Ilara nodded. And it's time we did. The fleet followed the pulsing signal to a massive structure, partially buried in the debris of a shattered planet. It was enormous, far larger than any human ship, yet it radiated a power familiar to their oldest technologies. The structure was built from a combination of materials, some organic, some mechanical, some that seemed to shimmer between both. Lara whispered, awestruck, "What is it?" Ilara's eyes narrowed. "It's a weapon." "No, not a weapon. A safeguard. Something humanity built long ago in the First Great War against the force we now know as the Eclipser Swarm." Marcus froze. The Eclipser Swarm? But that was just a legend. Nobody believed it existed anymore. Ilara turned to him. "Some legends are true. Some are warnings, and some are keys to survival." She gestured toward the structure. "This is our key. And the signal, it was leading us here all along." The fleet held position as the human engineers prepared to interface with the structure. Panels shifted, energy conduits hummed softly, and a faint light pulsed through the dark metal. Old codes on the consoles unlocked parts of the structure, and slowly it awakened. This is incredible," Lara said, her voice trembling. "It's like it knows us, like it recognizes the rusted fleet." Ilara's eyes glinted. "It does. Humanity created safeguards, mechanisms, and weapons to face threats no one else could. The galaxy laughed at us for building old, simple ships. They didn't realize those ships were the perfect vessels to survive what was coming." Suddenly, the structure emitted a pulse of light that spread across the fleet. The energy coursed through the human ships, integrating with their engines, shields, and sensors. Old hulls glowed faintly. Systems hummed with renewed strength, and for the first time, the rusted fleet felt truly alive, and not as relics, but as a living force ready to face the darkness. Marcus stepped forward, awe on his face. "Captain, the fleet, it's responding. All of our ships. Every last one of them. It's like they've awakened." Ilara nodded, her expression steady but full of determination. "That's because we are not just ships. We are humans. And humans endure." As the fleet prepared to move deeper into the silence, a warning appeared on the sensors. Shadows moved at the edge of detection, enormous shapes that warped light and gravity. The remnants of the alien fleets were not merely dead. They were the first victims of something immense, something ancient, something the galaxy had forgotten to fear. Lara's hands shook. "Captain, it's coming. Whatever destroyed those fleets, it's noticing us." Ilara placed a hand on the console, her voice calm, commanding. "Then let it notice. Let it see humanity. We've survived the impossible before, and we will survive again. The galaxy doubted us. Now it will witness what humans can do." The rusted fleet moved in formation, following the structure's guidance. Its pulses created a pattern in space, revealing paths between gravitational anomalies, navigating around collapsed stars, and avoiding zones of extreme distortion. Every ship responded instinctively, old engineering and human intuition guiding them perfectly. Marcus watched the readings, unable to hide his amazement. "Captain, it's like the fleet itself has become part of the structure. We're synchronized with it, with the heart of Sol." Ilara's eyes hardened. "Exactly. This is the forgotten power of humanity. While the galaxy mocked our rusted hulls, we were preparing, waiting, learning, adapting. And now, the moment has come." The structure pulsed again, and the energy flowed through every human vessel. The rusted fleet glowed faintly, a tapestry of old technology and human resilience. They were old, yes, but each dent, each scar, each patch on the hull carried history, knowledge, and strength no alien could replicate. And then, something unexpected happened. A message appeared in the oldest human script, barely visible across the main console. "Activate the heart of Sol. The galaxy's fate depends on it," Lara whispered, reading the words aloud. "The heart of Sol. What is it? Alara's jaw tightened. It is our secret weapon, our safeguard, our power hidden in plain sight. Humanity built it to face the Eclipser swarm centuries ago. The Council and the galaxy laughed, thinking we had nothing left. But they forgot one thing. Humans never truly give up. And humans never truly forget. Marcus turned to her, eyes wide. But the heart of Sol, it's dangerous, isn't it? Even for us? Ilara nodded. It is. But so is every challenge we ever faced. So is every risk we take as humans. The difference is, we endure, we adapt, and we fight. That is what makes us the Rusted Fleet. That is what makes us humanity. The shadows at the edge of the fleet began to move closer, shapes stretching across space, impossible to measure or understand. Gravity bent, light disappeared. Ships of alien origin trembled and faltered. Yet the Rusted Fleet held steady. The structure pulsed again, louder this time. Energy waves spread through the human fleet, integrating further with their engines, shields, and weapons. Every system, old and patched, hummed with power. The Rusted Fleet, once mocked, now carried a force that no alien had anticipated. Ilara's voice cut through the tense silence. Prepare yourselves. What comes next will test everything we are. But remember, we are human, and humans endure. Always. The fleet tightened formation, engines thrumming in unison. Shadows advanced, massive and consuming, yet the humans moved with confidence. The heart of Sol had awakened. The fleet had adapted, and the galaxy's underestimation of humanity would soon end. As the Rusted Fleet faced the unknown darkness, Ilara felt a surge of pride. The galaxy might have laughed at their rusted ships, their patched hulls, and their outdated engines. But laughter would end here. And when the galaxy finally saw what humans were capable of, the stars themselves would tremble. The signal pulsed one final time before fading into a steady glow, marking the path forward. And with that guidance, the Rusted Fleet advanced. The forgotten power of humanity lighting their way through the silence, ready to confront the ancient threat that had destroyed fleets before them. Somewhere deep in the void, something stirred in response. It had sensed humans again, and for the first time in centuries, the Eclipser swarm, or whatever it truly was, felt caution. Ilara watched the approaching darkness, a steady calm in her eyes. This is just the beginning, she said softly, and we are ready. The Rusted Fleet moved with purpose toward the coordinates revealed by the heart of Sol. The stars around them stretched and warped, as if space itself was bending in anticipation. The darkness at the edge of their sensors pulsed with movement, massive and unseen. The very void seemed alive, testing their courage, challenging their resolve. Yet humanity pressed onward, undeterred. On the bridge of the horizon's end, Captain Ilara Voss stood tall, eyes fixed on the readings streaming across the main console. The heart of Sol had begun its final activation sequence. Energy from deep within the sun itself was being channeled outward through the fleet, connecting every ship in a delicate, pulsing web of light. Old hulls glimmered faintly, shields shivered with new power, and engines thrummed in resonance with the solar energy. Lieutenant Marcus Hale studied the readouts, eyes wide. Captain, the fleet is synchronizing perfectly with the heart of Sol. Every ship, it's like they're part of it now. The energy, it's amplifying our systems far beyond anything we expected. Ilara's gaze did not leave the holographic display. That's exactly what it's designed to do. The galaxy may have mocked our Rusted Fleet, but it didn't understand the real power hidden within human technology, or within us. Ensign Lara Kim stepped forward, her voice barely above a whisper. Captain, the shadows. They're coming closer. Whatever destroyed the fleets before, it knows we're here now, Ilara nodded. Let it come. The Rusted Fleet is no longer just a collection of old ships. We are a single, living system, powered by ingenuity, history, and the human will. That is what no one else understands. That is why we survive. The shadow shapes at the edge of the fleet grew larger, twisting forms that seemed to absorb light itself stretched across the void. They moved deliberately, a slow, unstoppable advance that sent tremors through every sensor. These were the remnants of the force humanity had once fought, the Eclipser swarm, or at least something born from its destruction. Captain, Marcus said, voice tense. They're massive. Entire fleets couldn't withstand one of these, and now they're coming for us. Ilara's lips pressed into a thin line. Then we show them why humans endure. Prepare the fleet. Activate all systems. The heart of Sol will guide us, but the courage comes from us. The fleet responded instantly. Even the oldest vessels groaned with renewed energy, engines vibrating with a resonance that shook the decks. Hulls that had survived centuries of wear and tear now gleamed faintly with solar energy, shields flickering in radiant blue-white patterns. It was as if the rusted ships had become stars themselves, small but fierce beacons against the encroaching darkness. Suddenly, a pulse of energy shot from the heart of Sol. It spread across the fleet, forming beams that extended outward like threads of light. Each ship's energy harmonized with the sun's power, creating a luminous network stronger than any shield the galaxy had ever seen. The aliens who once mocked the rusted fleet would have called it impossible. But humanity had never cared for impossible. "Captain," Lara said, her voice trembling with awe, "it's beautiful and terrifying. The entire fleet. It's alive." Alara's eyes shone with determination. "Alive, yes. But more than that, we are ready. The Eclipser swarm may have devoured stars before, but it has never faced humans fully awakened. Not like this." The shadows advanced, slowly at first, then faster, responding to the humans' movement. Entire regions of space flickered as their dark forms bent light and twisted gravity. Alien fleets in the silence had crumpled at this force, but the rusted fleet pressed forward, undeterred, glowing with the energy of the sun itself. Marcus adjusted the sensors, his fingers flying across the console. "Captain, we're detecting resonance patterns. The swarm reacts to energy like ours, but it's confused. It's expecting a traditional fleet, not this unified force of light." Ilara nodded. "Then we keep going. Let them see what humans can do when pushed beyond limits. They think we are weak. They think we are insignificant. They are about to learn that nothing underestimates humanity safely." The fleet closed the distance. The heart of Sol pulsed more intensely, drawing energy directly from the sun. Streams of light connected every ship in a lattice of power, illuminating the shadows with brilliance that the swarm could not comprehend. Light, so bright and purposeful, cut through the darkness and reached into the void where no other energy could survive. Suddenly, the Eclipser swarm struck. Shadows collided with the fleet, massive tendrils wrapping around ships, absorbing light and attempting to crush them. For a moment, the bridge of the horizon's end shook violently, alarms blaring. Crew members gripped consoles, their faces pale. "Hold formation," Ilara shouted. "Do not let them break the web." The fleet responded instantly. Shields flared with solar power. Energy beams shot from the heart of Sol through the lattice, pushing back against the darkness. Old weapons, patched together over centuries, glowed brighter than ever. The rusted fleet, once mocked for its age, now radiated strength. Each explosion of energy from a human ship sent ripples through the swarm, tearing pieces of darkness apart. Lara's voice trembled as she watched the battle unfold on the view screen. They're falling back. The swarm, it's retreating from our energy." Lara's jaw tightened. "Not retreating. Calculating. They think they can isolate us. But we are humans. We adapt, we endure, and we fight together." The heart of Sol pulsed again, stronger and more vibrant. The sun itself seemed to respond, flaring with controlled brilliance. Energy streams extended farther than ever before, touching every human ship and amplifying their strength exponentially. The rusted fleet was no longer a collection of old vessels. It was a single living entity, a force born of ingenuity, courage, and relentless determination. Marcus stared at the console. "Captain, the swarm is weakening. Its gravity distortions are collapsing. It's disintegrating under the combined energy of the fleet and the heart of Sol." Ilara nodded, her expression unyielding. "Good, but stay vigilant. This is only the beginning. We may have the power, but the swarm is ancient. It will not fall easily." The fleet pressed forward, each ship moving in perfect synchronization with the pulsing energy web. The swarm's shadows writhed and twisted, desperately trying to escape the light that humans now controlled. Every tendril that reached for the ships met an invisible wall of brilliance, dispersing into nothingness. Finally, the heart of Sol reached full power. Streams of solar energy wrapped around the rusted fleet like a protective cocoon. The swarm, massive and terrifying, faltered. Its endless shadows began to collapse under the pressure, light breaking through darkness in jagged patterns. The rusted fleet pressed the advantage, their ships glowing like miniature suns, every engine, every shield, every weapon harmonized in a symphony of survival. Captain, Lara whispered, awestruck. We're doing it. We're holding the swarm at bay. Alara's eyes were fixed on the void, calm but fierce. We are not just holding them. We are reminding the galaxy who we are. Humans endure. Humans fight. And humans will never be forgotten. The battle raged for hours. Or perhaps minutes. The perception of time twisted in the warped gravity near the sun. Every human ship that was struck responded with ingenuity, adapting systems, redirecting power, and keeping the lattice of light intact. The swarm recoiled, unable to comprehend the resilience and coordination of the rusted fleet. At last, the pulse of the heart of Sol surged one final time. A wave of energy spread across the void, touching every shadow of the swarm. Tendrils collapsed, darkness dissipated, and the void that had once been filled with fear now shimmered with starlight. The rusted fleet floated victorious, damaged but unbroken, radiant with the energy of the sun itself. Ilara's voice echoed across the bridge. The galaxy may have mocked us. They may have doubted us. But the rusted fleet has proven the stars themselves tremble when humans stand together. Marcus let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. Captain, and we did it. The swarm, it's gone. Ilara shook her head, a faint smile on her lips. Gone for now. But vigilance is our duty. Humanity has survived by remembering the lessons of the past and preparing for the future, and we will continue to do so. The fleet drifted, glowing softly in the void, their engines humming in harmony with the heart of Sol. The sun flared once more, a reminder of the power humans had awakened. Alien fleets that had once mocked them would never forget this display of ingenuity and courage. The rusted fleet, laughed at for centuries, had become a force beyond imagination. And the galaxy would remember them not as weaklings but as humans, the species that endured, adapted, and made the stars themselves tremble. The rusted fleet glowed like a chain of miniature suns in the vast darkness of space. The heart of Sol pulsed with steady energy, flowing through every ship and illuminating even the oldest hulls. The Eclipser swarm, the massive, shadowy force that had destroyed fleets for centuries, was broken, yet remnants lingered, retreating into the void. Captain Ilara Voss stood on the bridge of the horizon's end, watching the remnants of the enemy mass shrink on the sensors. The fleet was battered, engines creaking, shields flickering, yet every ship held together, alive with the energy of the sun itself. Lieutenant Marcus Hale leaned over the console, scanning the readings. Captain, they're trying to reorganize. The remnants of the swarm are gathering again. If we don't finish this, they'll strike elsewhere. This is our chance to end it. Ilara's eyes were steady, calm, and sharp. Then we end it here. Humanity has survived worse than this. We endure, we fight, and now the stars themselves will witness the strength of our species. The fleet formed into position. Every ship, old and patched, glimmered with solar energy, beams of light connecting them in a lattice stronger than any armor. The heart of Sol's pulse surged through the ships, amplifying their energy weapons and shields far beyond their original capacity. The rusted fleet was no longer a relic. It was a living force. Lara Kim's voice trembled slightly as she observed the advancing shadows. Captain, it's massive. Even after our victory, they still come. What if the heart of Sol isn't enough? Ilara turned to her, expression calm but resolute. It will be enough. Not because of the technology, but because of the people behind it. Humanity doesn't rely on perfection. We rely on courage, ingenuity, and the will to survive. That is what makes us unstoppable. The swarm advanced, darkness stretching across space, absorbing light as it moved. Entire star systems flickered under its shadow. The rusted fleet held formation, light radiating from each ship, cutting into the void like spears. Marcus adjusted the targeting sensors. The swarm reacts to energy patterns, Captain. But it's confused. It doesn't understand the coordination we've achieved. We can exploit that, Ilara nodded. Then we strike. Focus fire on the core of the mass. Do not let it regain strength. Humanity will not be denied. The fleet surged forward. Energy beams lanced out from the ship, striking the heart of the swarm. Shadows writhed and twisted, colliding with light, but the rusted fleet held steady. Every strike, every pulse of energy disrupted the swarm's cohesion. The heart of Sol flared brighter, channeling the sun's power into the lattice, amplifying the human ship's weapons beyond comprehension. Captain, Lara shouted. Excitement and fear mixed in her voice. It's working. The core of the swarm is breaking apart. Ilara's jaw tightened. Keep it steady. Don't allow them to regroup. Every ship must fire in sync. The rusted fleet's energy synchronized perfectly. Old hulls vibrated with the sun's power. Shields glowed like radiant domes pushing back against the darkness. The swarm shrieked in the silence of space, twisting and collapsing under the assault. Small tendrils disintegrated first, then larger masses, until only the central shadow remained. Marcus's voice was tense. Captain, the core. We're approaching it. It's huge, bigger than any planet we've encountered. Ilara's eyes narrowed. Then we give it everything we have. Humanity does not retreat. Humanity does not surrender. Humanity fights. The fleet pressed forward, every ship unleashing its full power. The heart of Sol's pulse surged, energy beams wrapping around the central shadow. Light and darkness collided in a cataclysmic display. The void shook as the rusted fleet, once mocked for its age and rust, became the instrument of the galaxy's salvation. Suddenly, the core of the swarm cracked. Shadows split apart, revealing gaps in the darkness. The rusted fleet pressed the advantage, weaving through the fractures, beams of light slicing deeper, pushing the enemy back. Each explosion sent ripples through space, stars shimmering as if responding to the battle. Lara watched in awe. Captain, it's collapsing. The swarm, it can't hold against us. Ilara's voice was steady, firm. Then we finish this. Every ship, every crew member, every human alive is part of this moment. Humanity has endured centuries of doubt, ridicule, and war. Now say we triumph. The fleet closed in on the final remnants. The heart of Sol pulsed once more, its energy streaming into every human ship simultaneously. Engines roared, shields flared, weapons fired in perfect harmony. The rusted fleet struck the heart of the darkness with unstoppable force. The core of the swarm disintegrated, shadows evaporating into nothingness. Gravity twisted back to normal. Stars reappeared, shining clearly across the void. The silence was deafening, broken only by the steady hum of human ships. Marcus exhaled heavily. Captain, it's over. The swarm, it's gone. Ilara's eyes were fixed on the void where the shadows had vanished. She allowed herself a small, proud smile. Not just gone. Humanity endured. Humanity triumphed, and the stars themselves have witnessed it. The fleet floated, battered but alive, glimmering with the sun's energy. The heart of Sol's pulse slowed, returning to a steady rhythm. Human ships, old and patched, shone like beacons in the darkness. Lara turned to Ilara, eyes wide with amazement. Captain, the galaxy, they'll never mock us again. They'll remember this forever. Ilara shook her head. They may remember, but the lesson is not for them. The lesson is for us. Humanity survives, adapts, and fights. We endure. That is our power. That is our legacy. Marcus leaned over, studying the readouts. The Council will want to know how we did it. They'll demand answers. Ilara's eyes glinted. Let them demand. The truth is simple. Humans never gave up. Humans never stopped believing. And humans never forgot who they are. The rusted fleet was laughed at, dismissed, and ridiculed. But today we made the stars tremble. The fleet moved back toward the coordinates of the heart of Sol. The sun flared once more, a reminder of the power humans had awakened and the resilience that carried them through centuries of doubt. Each ship carried scars, rust, and patched hulls, but also the strength, courage, and ingenuity of countless generations. Lara looked out at the expanse of stars, her voice soft. Captain, it feels like the galaxy itself is watching us now. Ilara nodded. It is, and let it watch. Let it remember. Humanity will never again be underestimated. The rusted fleet, once mocked and dismissed, now drifted proudly in the void. Light radiated from every vessel, streams of solar energy weaving through the lattice created by the heart of Sol. They were a symbol of survival, courage, and ingenuity, the enduring power of humans. Marcus let out a long breath. Captain, the stars. They trembled, and we survived. Ilara's eyes softened, pride and determination shining through. Yes, and we will continue to survive. Humanity has always endured, and humanity always will. The galaxy may forget, it may doubt, but the rusted fleet will always be proof that humans can overcome anything. The fleet began its journey back toward known space, leaving the silence behind. The stars, once distant and indifferent, now seemed alive, twinkling in acknowledgement of the rusted fleet's triumph. The heart of Sol returned to quiet operation. its energy still coursing gently through the ships, a reminder of the power humans could wield when united. In the quiet of the horizon's end, Ilara gazed at the view ahead. This is only the beginning. Humanity has survived the impossible before, and we will survive again. No matter what the galaxy throws at us, we endure. And when we stand together, the stars themselves will remember us. The rusted fleet, battered but victorious, moved forward into the galaxy, not as relics, not as objects of ridicule, but as a shining testament to human courage, ingenuity, and indomitable spirit. The stars had trembled. Humanity had answered, and the galaxy would never forget the day the rusted fleet stood tall.